Hello and welcome to another episode of Zappin' and Yappin', the only show on the internet, and I'm pretty sure it's the only. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh wow. Okay. The only show on the internet where I go to electrolysis, which is where they put a zapper in your follicle and electrify the zapper, and it causes a lot of pain. I'm doing this because if I want bottom surgery, there has to be no hair downstairs. So you have to go follicle by follicle to make sure that never ever grows back. So if this is your first episode of Zappin' and Yappin', first off, welcome. You're going to hear me in quite a bit of pain, probably more over the first bit of it, because in the first bit of the appointment over this podcast, the numbing cream is still setting in. So, anyways, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. I have so much to tell y'all about. It's been a heck of a week. I don't even know where to start. Let's see. Last night I went to Emily's fashion show. That was really exciting. I mean, look, the main story of the day is going to be Disney. This will probably be the title of the episode. We'll get into it. But last night I went to, I'll tell you about last night. Went to Emily's fashion show. She finally has finished her design program. It was very cool. There was probably, I don't even know how many people were in the audience, maybe a couple hundred. It was big. It was like this big auditorium and a really big long runway. Bunch of chairs, and it felt exactly like, a runway in the movies where the models come down, walk down, and like strike a pose, and it's very cool. And there's a lot of experimental stuff. And Emily's collection was very very good. If for some reason you're listening to this within the first 24 hours of me, I'm trying to think, because I put it on my story maybe a few hours ago. If I manage to get this up by the end of the day, which I doubt it, chances are you're listening to this after it's off my story. But if you look up Emily's socials, at Emily Bunnycat, I bet you can find something. I bet she'll post it. Anyways, that was cool. It's been a whirlwind of a week or two. I was at Disney last week, right? Last week, because today is Friday, and last Friday was the day I had finally gotten back from Disney. And I want to tell you all about my trip. And I'm pretty sure I told my electrologist about it last time, right? So you're going to hear about this again. You want to hear about it again? All right, cool. No problem. So we're going to relitigate this story, and I'm going to dive into deeper and deeper detail than I ever have so that you can experience every moment of it with me, because it was pretty great. And this podcast will serve as the official record of my incredible trip to Disney. First off, it was great. Overall, it was a great trip. A lot of cool and crazy stuff happened. Where I'm going to kind of give you because if it weren't for the last, hold on, I got to scratch my eye. 1 second. Thank you for waiting. If it weren't for the last 12 hours of the trip, this would be a normal, wow, it was so good and cool and I had a blast. And I'm not saying anything bad happened. I'm saying something crazy cool happened the last 12 hours of the trip. So we'll work our way towards that 12 hours. But leading up to it, I'll tell you about everything else because it was also very cool. So let's see. I flew from the San Francisco airport to the Santa Ana Airport. SNA is the abbreviation. I think that's Santa Ana. It's the Disneyland airport. Because LAX, which is the main LA airport, is like an hour from Disney. But they have a much closer airport, SNA, that I flew into. And, I met my mom there. Because she and I were flying in within an hour of each other, so she just waited for me. And it was great. I hadn't seen my mom in a while. Anyways, I can't focus until this one's done. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Okay. Good. 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 So met my mom there. It was very nice. There was a little bit of stress at the top because my mom, being a military spouse, got her tickets specially through like a military agency, and they had to get them delivered by mail, which is like, what are we, 1995? Like, come on, can we not just do e-tickets? Apparently not. So we had to do this whole thing of getting a FedEx package sent to our hotel and then accepted by, like, because these systems aren't set up. Disneyland isn't like ready to receive packages and hold on to them for guests. So there was a whole rigmarole, but we got them eventually, and we Ubered all the way to Disneyland Hotel because look, I sprung for the nice room. It was not cheap. I would have done a cheaper room at Disneyland Hotel, but the only ones available were the ones that came with concierge service. I didn't even realize this until we rolled up to the to Disneyland Hotel, and I was like, oh yeah, just and they're like, oh, what's your name? Oh, Lily. Oh, Lily Contino. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, we've been expecting you, and I was like, oh, like really? And at first I thought, oh, this must be a thing that they do, because Disneyland is all about that customer service. Like, they have a, list of the people, and they kind of have them in their heads, and but that actually wasn't the case, because we got an too expensive room. There was someone whose job it was, a concierge person, to come downstairs and meet us and greet us and like take us around, to show us around. It was a whole thing. So we had this wonderful concierge person. Their name was V, and yeah, they were a sweetie. They helped with getting the whole FedEx tickets delivered. They brought us up to this clubhouse. There was like so it was an 11-floor building, and on the 11th floor there's rooms, but also this, like, how to describe it, kind of like a fancy hotel food area where they serve several, I wouldn't call it, I guess, a meal. They have breakfast. They have, like, from blank to blank AM, they got breakfast. And then from blank to blank, it's like light refreshments. Then in the evening, there's dessert, and you can get beer and wine at any time and that kind of thing. And there's like a whole fridge full of soda. And, if you really need something, they'll like try to accommodate you. Just kind of like hey, you paid extra. We'll give you some, watermelon slices cut to look like Mickey ears. We got you. Like that kind of thing. And yeah, so it was great. We settled into our hotel. There's this thing that the concierge was like, hey, do you want me to take a video of you reacting to like the headboard? It's like, the headboard? She's like, yeah. The headboard like does a whole thing, and you can react. If you want, I'll take video of you. I was like, okay. So there is a video of me. I wasn't like so blown away. The whole like, oh my God, the magic of Disney, like that kind of thing. I don't really buy into it as much, but I guess some people do. Anyways, when you press a button on your lamp in the room, the whole headboard has these lights in it, and will light up and kind of play you a little song, like a When You Wish Upon a Star thing. And it's interesting because it kind of sounded like one of those little music boxes, but it was right on the line of cute, and sometimes you see like a Dusty Ballerina music box in a horror movie, and it's like, uh-oh, this is something ominous. It was right on the line. But it was cool, and you could just press the button anytime, and you get a little mini light show. Anyways, so we got settled in, and the plan was to just go to Disney or downtown Disney that night, and that's what we did. So we didn't get park tickets. The next day was park tickets. So we went to, and if you don't know, downtown Disney is kind of like the shops and restaurants. It's a series of shops and restaurants that you don't have to pay to go to. You have to go through a security checkpoint to get into. It's still very much Disney's property, and like, there's everyone there works. Well, I don't know if everyone there works for Disney. I don't think that's true, but it's like Disney's space. And I think there was like a high schooler night or something, because the only time we ever saw the security checkpoint this busy was on this night, and there's like all these. I'm assuming like maybe they were high school seniors, just running around or waiting in line, and we eventually got in and started looking around. I got overstimulated around that time because it was A, very sunny and hot, and B, I was not dressed for it, and C, very loud because of all the kids running around. So I got a little overstimulated. We walked around to start. We had to sit down in some shade. There was a burger place that I knew I wanted to make a video about or with, called Crazy Shake. And when we went in at first, it was so busy. It was still busy by the time we went, but it was like there was no seats where it was quiet. It was a whole thing. But we sat down. I cooled off, put in my loops. It was good. Eventually, we went and ordered. Now, this place, Crazy Shakes, lives up to its name of being a place that serves both burgers and crazy milkshakes. Now, crazy doesn't necessarily mean good, because I will tell you, this restaurant was not good. It was bad. First off, it was insanely expensive. And I'll tell you about the meals we had over the course of the trip, but this was by far the worst one. And also the most expensive. It was the worst and the most expensive. And you'll hear tomorrow, the night after this, we went to a dinner across the way at a place called Paseo that I'll tell you more about. But it was like almost as expensive at Paseo and a million times better. So anyways, we got to be fair, we got a lot more food than we could eat, because I at first wanted to make a video of like a food taste test, which I kind of did. So we got 2 different milkshakes, which was already too much. The first one was like $16, and it was like a black and white shake, and it had a whole slice of chocolate cake on top of it, like a whole like why would you even? And it wasn't even good cake. It was bad cake. Or mediocre cake. And then we got a $24 milkshake, a special edition limited Mickey Mouse, like some sort of strawberry shake. And, there's a regular strawberry shake, but there were 2 rock candy sticks in there. There was an entire, like, full-size Mickey ear Rice Krispie treat that looked like Mickey Mouse. And I think there was something else. We ordered a couple burgers and also a couple different types of fries. The milkshakes themselves, like the actual like body of the milkshake, was fine. There's nothing special. The actual stuff that was like adorning the milkshakes, like the big slice of cake and the Rice Krispie treat. The Rice Krispie treat came with this like fondant on it. And if you don't know what fondant is, it's the stuff that they like put on cakes to make it look like stuff. You know what I'm talking about? It's like multicolored, and they like lay it on top of a cake. Like if you ever watch Cake Wars or, any of those cake reality shows, half of it is fondant. And fondant is technically edible, but it's not tasty. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyways, so the meal was pretty mediocre, but when I did film some stuff, and it kind of changed from being a food taste test to me interviewing my mom about me coming out, which is ultimately what I'm going to use to make for that video. So that was nice. So we went to that place, and then we went back to our room. One thing we learned at about this time was, so as we were walking out of downtown Disney, it's very much like a hot spot for nightlife. At least, I think there's some bars there, but almost every night there's going to be live music. And by that, I mean a 4 or 5 piece band with drums, a drummer, and that band will play until about 10 p.m. Now, how do I know this? Because our window was facing downtown Disney, our hotel window, and there was no sound protection. Now, I'm a little old lady. I like to go to bed at 9:30. Especially, we were so tired from traveling. And me and my mom are in our hotel room, and we're just like, ugh. Bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, bump. To the point, it was clear enough that I could probably identify every other song just by the drum beat. It wasn't like the end of the world, but it was still pretty annoying. So yeah, then the next day rolls around, which is, the first day of the parks, which is so exciting. I did a little Discord stream in the hotel, which was fun. Got ready. I had 5 different pairs of Mickey ears to choose from because I ordered 5. I had one that had my name on it. Oh, am I going to sneeze? I think I'm going to sneeze. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think day 1 I went with probably my favorite one, which was kind of like a, what's it called? You know how like sometimes they'll give you like a deconstructed food item of some kind, like deconstructed sandwich, deconstructed whatever. It just means like all the parts aren't really in the order they're supposed to be. Like a just like trans flag color Minnie Mouse ears that had, I mean, if you look on my Instagram, I'm sure you can find pictures of it, videos of it. I think the one I posted about the cake pops, that video, I'm wearing them. I think that I might have filmed that on the first day. Might have been the first day. Anyways, we made our way over to the parks. You had to go through downtown Disney to get there. And yeah, we had the park hopper pass. But the way that works is you have to pick which park you want to go to first. And then at 11 or noon, you gain the ability to hop to the other park. So you just got to let them know where you want to start. And day 1, I'm pretty sure we only went to Disneyland on day 1. We did not do any California Adventure, which is the sister park. It's right across the way. There's 2 different parks. Disneyland is the original. California Adventure opened in 2001. It's a smaller park, but it has good stuff too. So Disneyland, we went there, and I think right around the time, so we got there and we did the lightning lane things, which is how you like sign up for Fast Pass rides. If you remember, I don't know, Fast Pass was what I grew up with, but now it's lightning lane. Which is really the only way to do it. There's waiting in the regular line. I guess it wasn't that bad. The lines actually weren't that bad, even without Lightning Lane. If I remember correctly, so I started streaming around this time. The first ride we went on was Pirates of the Caribbean, and we stood in the regular line for that. It was maybe 10 minutes, definitely no more than, it was maybe 15 minutes to get on Pirates. And I tried streaming it. I was not successful. I learned that you can pretty much stream. No one's going to say anything to you. They're cool with you streaming anywhere. It can be kind of annoying if you stream, but they're probably not going to like, and I don't think it's against any policy. In fact, I think they kind of maybe even encourage it or are at the very least neutral about it. The problem with it is, depending on the ride, especially if you've never been on them or tried to stream on them, it's hard to predict when and where the service, your cell phone reception, is going to work and not work. And so I got my first taste of this on Pirates, where I think that ride goes underground, maybe. Regardless, the reception just died for a while. And this is when I was like, okay, look, maybe I shouldn't be trying to stream all these rides, even though I tried it a couple more times to mixed success. But the ride itself was fun. It was good to go on that. I was looking forward to that one. And then we went to the Blue Bayou. No, Blue Bayou? I think so. Blue Bayou restaurant, which is the Pirates of the Caribbean restaurant, where on the ride your boat goes by the restaurant and you see all the people eating, and then you can eat at the restaurant if you want. And that's what we did. And we got a, what did we get? My mom got a gumbo, which has okra in it. I tried it. I hated it. If you know anything about me, you know that I do not like okra. Sorry. We got a salad of some kind. I think like a Brussels sprout salad, I think. And then, of course, I had a mint julep to drink, which was the non-alcoholic version of it. So it was basically just like a minty lemonade. And it was great. And it came with this cool little flashy souvenir ice cube. That wasn't actually an ice cube, just looked like it. That had a cool like glow light in it. So it was like kind of like not like a strobe light, I guess, kind of like a colored strobe light. So that was cool. And I was streaming this, and Emily was on the stream being like, I want it. And I was like, okay, you can have it. And then we had the Monte Cristo sandwich, which I believe is the signature food of this restaurant. Do you know what a Monte Cristo sandwich is?
I've had one years ago. It's been so long.
It
It's
is.
like a fried sandwich.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what if a donut and a ham and cheese sandwich had a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, they take basically just a ham and cheese sandwich and they batter the entire thing, like completely submerge the sandwich in batter, and then they throw it into the fryer. So it essentially is like a donut, but with with like a melted ham and cheese sandwich inside. And to top it off, they put powdered sugar on it, and they give you a lot of jelly. So it's actually if it's sounding good, you're right. If it's sounding bad, give it a chance, because it's like a sweet and savory situation, and it really works. Now, it's a lot because it's a deep fried ham and cheese sandwich, so we didn't even eat that much of it. And I was like, okay, I'm good. We're good for now. You know, we got our food for a little while, and then we went to the Star Wars land, Then we went to the Star Wars land, and we got in line for Rise of the Resistance, which is, I think, the best ride ever created. I don't know if anyone's really disagreeing with that. Maybe some people on semantics. I've heard some people argue that the Transformers ride is good in Universal. I don't know, but it's pretty hard to argue that there's very few things as good than as Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. And I say that as a Star Wars fan, but honestly, even if you've never cared about Star Wars for a day in your life, or even actively dislike Star Wars, just the spectacle, the way that this ride works is so impressive. And if you don't want to hear about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, if you don't want spoilers, I guess skip forward a little bit, but I'm going to tell you about it. So the line itself is fine. The whole conceit of it is that you're in the Resistance and, you know, fighting against the First Order or whatever, which is just like you're the good guys fighting against the bad guys. You're an underground resistance. It's fine. And then you get your mission briefing. So they put you all, and they put, you know, each little group of people into a room where BB-8, the little roly ball droid, comes out, and Rey comes out in this hologram, and she's like, all right, everyone, you're in the Resistance, and you know, we got a mission for you or something. And Oscar Isaacs, Poe Dameron is his character, comes, he has got like a little thing, he's on a video screen, and it's all looking pretty cool. Like the hologram looks cool, and you're like, okay, cool, mission, got it. And then the doors on the other side of the room open, and you're outside. It's like, oh, we're outside now, got it. And there's people that are shepherding you. There's a lot of like moving and walking around in this ride, and you go into a ship, and they're like, all right, we're going to take you to the mission, I think. I forget exactly what the story is. And Admiral Akbar is in the ship, which is like the fish-looking guy. And they close the doors, and you're inside in the dark again. And, you know, the ship like takes off, and you kind of feel it move a little bit. Now, what I'm saying I know is not super impressive yet, but wait. At a certain point in your ride on, you know, you're like riding around in the ship. Apparently, Admiral Akbar is talking to you. And then they're like, oh no, the First Order is here. And your ship gets commandeered by the First Order, the bad guys, okay? At which point the doors reopen, and you are no longer outside. You are in a massive space hangar where there's like all these, and look, if you want to get a visual for what I'm talking about, just Google Rise of the Resistance Stormtroopers, and it feel like that room is so big. It's so big, and it's like then you start to get the scale of what's happening here. Where this is not just like a walkthrough. This is I don't know. I don't know how much they spent on this ride. Has to be in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not like close to the billion, because this whole ride is, the production values are so crazy high. So you walk in, it feels like you're in space. There's all these stormtroopers around, and there are these cast members or Disney people that are dressed up to look like Star Wars bad guys, and they they're shepherding you, but they're doing it in like a mean way. They're like, all right, rebel scum, like keep walking, keep it to one picture. What? Because it's a photo moment. It's a big photo moment. Keep walking, and you walk through. I mean, you walk through what feels like a massive starship. It really feels like it, and there's like all these people and all these just like the paneling of the walls is incredible, and they line you up like you're prisoners, and they're like, all right, red prisoners here, orange prisoners here, and you go into an interrogation room. You get put into an interrogation room, which is a small like triangular room, and then freaking Kylo Ren comes out and he uses the Force on you, and the room shakes, and it's like, what? Cool. But this, I'm gonna tell you, the ride hasn't even begun yet. This is all the pre-show. This is like the most elaborate pre-show of any ride ever. And Kylo Ren leaves. He's like, all right, I'll be back. And at that point, like everything kind of goes calm for a second, and you hear some voices off to the like on the other side of the wall, and out of nowhere, some like how like sometimes in Star Wars a wall will get lightsabered through, or like someone will use carve out a wall, and it like looks cool and like very hot, like there's like a hot thing that's cutting through the wall. That's what happens, and part of the wall gets taken off, and these rebel soldiers or these resistance soldiers are like, we're going to bust you out of here. Get in. And this is when the ride starts, and they put you in this vehicle which drives itself. It is a driverless vehicle that there's no track. There's not, in a lot of rides you can like look down and see you're on a track. Not this one. There's just a floor, and your car goes where it wants to go. And you have like a droid, and you buckle up, and now the ride has begun. And essentially, you can, if you really want, you can watch this on YouTube. Just type in Rise of the Resistance on YouTube just to get a feel for it, because even if I take time to describe it, it's really hard to describe how good this looks and how cool it feels. You can just like ride a ride through. Feel free. You don't want to pause, go do it, and then come back to me? Go for it. I'll give you time. Okay, welcome back. Isn't it so cool? So you like go through on this thing, you on this car, and you're like, swerving around. There's all these noises and sound effects. You find yourself in a big hangar. You go up a big elevator. Like, it's such a big ride. And, you meet Kylo Ren a couple more times. You go into another elevator. There's like a drop at one point. It's just the coolest thing ever. And my mom, I was telling my mom, like, do you know anything about this ride? Because I knew everything about it, even though I'd never ridden it. I'd ridden on YouTube. She's like, I have no idea. So I'm like, okay, well, get ready. And she was of the mind, of course she was, that this was like the most incredible thing ever. So we had a blast on that one, and then we walked around Star Wars Land. There's like a big place in the Star Wars Land to walk around. There's all sorts of gift shops and like what's it called? Food places, Ronto wraps, things like that. And it's just, the theming is so cool. There was a place where there is this person who was a performer who had these two like little mechanical droids. If you're familiar with the do you know those dogs, the like robot dogs? You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about with the robot dogs? And like someone will kick them down, and they I forget what, there's like some Boston Labs thing. This is not Star Wars really. There's like these robo dogs that are kind of terrifying, but I'm pretty sure it's a similar technology of these photorealistic droids that like can walk around and like talk, and there's someone off to the side who's piloting them or like got a remote control, but they're so cool. And there's like there's a make your own lightsaber experience where it costs $240, and you get to make a lightsaber. You like get to choose all the different plastic parts and make it. But the cool thing about it is that there's like a whole lot of theater that goes with it. There's people who, are like, welcome to the Jedi Training Academy. Like we're gonna, and they like do a whole lot of, it's like an experience you pay a lot extra for. I didn't do that, but, maybe one day if I have $240 and don't care about it, I would do it. But that is not the case today. So, yeah, we walked around Star Wars Land. And we just kind of cleaned up there. We, rode some other rides, rode like the Snow White ride, rode what's the freaky one? The Pinocchio ride is actually kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of nightmarish. It's kind of like a bad trip. It's a little freaky. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. The Peter Pan line was really long, but so we skipped that one, and then we went to Tomorrowland where I decided to go on the Star Tours ride. Star Tours is a much older ride that has been around for, I would imagine, at least since the 90s. The whole idea being that you're a space tourist and you go on a, welcome to Star Tours, and you go on the thing and it's like, oh, something goes wrong, and you go on like a little adventure, and you're in this kind of like big car which has like 5 or so rows, and there's a big screen, and the car like kind of moves around and jostles you around with the screen, and you watch. And I think C-3PO is there. It's fine. I've been on it a bunch of times in the past. I did get misgendered by some people there, which was kind of a bummer. Not people who worked there, but just like people who were sitting next to me. It was whatever. That was my least favorite ride experience with Star Tours. I did the other big thing about it was that I got insanely motion sick. I've not been this motion sick in a long time. It was bad. I was sweating. I was like really struggling to keep it together. And then like as soon as the ride ended, I got misgendered. I was like, great, perfect. So, but we left that behind. Me and my mom. My mom didn't go on that one because she gets motion sick too. And I think I'm now officially in that boat with her. I didn't used to be. It used to be I could go on anything at any time and I had no problem, but not anymore. So Star Tours was fun, and then I'm trying to think. Then we went on the Indiana Jones ride, which was really cool. They didn't have that in Florida. Disney World doesn't have it. So it was the first time ride for me. And one of the things that I didn't, because I'd ridden it on YouTube before, of course, but one of the things that I hadn't realized was that the ride is very like bumpy in a good way. Like it's supposed to be bumpy. Like, it's a track ride and you go through and, Indiana Jones is around and there's some temple that you're going through and, you run away from the big rolling ball at some point. But the cool thing about it is that instead of just going forward on the track, like they are bouncing you around like up, down, sideways, like it's like kind of like you're in a mine cart and you really feel it. It's pretty cool. And aesthetically, the ride is really good. That was definitely one of the better rides that they have there. I was a big fan. And we also did we do Jungle? I don't know. No, we didn't do Jungle Cruise that day. I think Indiana Jones is where we left it that night. And then we went to Paseo, which is the restaurant I was telling you about before, the nicer Mexican restaurant across from the Crazy Shake place, the burger place. Paseo had apparently was in a soft opening. It's just starting to open. And the night after we were there, apparently they had a full grand opening. They were telling us, oh, there's a bunch of celebrities that are coming, and we were like, oh, interesting. But we go in there. They were just really nice. I mean, I guess they were all on their best behavior, and I'm not trying to like say it was that lessen the experience at all, because they were really nice. But I think they were all like fresh, and the restaurant was new. They were looking to make a good impression on everyone who walked through the door, and they did so. The chef had apparently been on Chopped, and yeah, it was pretty cool. We had really good food. We had like some cool empanadas. I had a ceviche, which was really good. Our server was really nice. We got to meet a whole bunch of people that were just walking around like, hey, I'm here to like help launch the blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting, cool. It was just a great meal, and especially after like the lackluster meal we had the night before, And after the kind of middling experience I had on Star Tours, even though it was nothing bad, it was just kind of like a "and we're back" moment. It was nice. So, we went there. We walked around downtown Disney for a little bit because we knew that we were going to be up till at least 10 p.m. when the drum stopped. So we just kind of meandered around, and I think I went upstairs that night and had some of the little. They had some snacks out in the fancy club room. They had macarons, which were actually pretty good. They had little cheesecake bites. They had fresh fruit that were cut into these cool little, I don't know how to describe it, planks, I guess. Yeah, and then went to sleep and woke up for day 2, which was the California Adventure Day. This time, we went to California Adventure, and this park is smaller. Park. There's really no analog for it in Disney World, because in Disney World, Magic Kingdom is the closest thing that you have. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Magic Kingdom is basically Disneyland. Like, there's differences. Like, there's no Indiana Jones in Magic Kingdom. There's a bunch of stuff that a bunch of differences. But, like, by and large, the layout of the park is similar. The rides are similar. So I at least had some sort of reference point going into Disneyland. But California Adventure, nothing like it in Florida, which is cool. It was like a brand new theme park. It was. And so yeah, I actually, before I did any rides, I said, okay, I want to stream first. And I was hungry. So I went to the Lamplight Lounge in California Adventure, which was a nice restaurant that had a really nice server. I did have to send a food item back because it was too salty. I got the bao buns, the spicy bao, which has my name all over it. I love bao. Hold on, let me scratch my ear. Okay, we're good. It was just too salty. The flavor was good, but it was too salty. I also got a virgin pina colada because I do love coconut. Ultimately, I did. Did I get an appetizer? You'll have to tell me if I got an appetizer. When I will post the Disney streams. I'm not sure when. Very soon, at some point soon. But not sure if I got an appetizer. I did swap out the bao buns though for the sliders, little burger sliders with a pretzel bun. It was good, totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. Much better than the burgers I had the night before. I'll tell you what. Yeah, and I just had like a nice interaction with my server. It was good vibes. And then with the stream, we walked around just a little bit more. We went on the Little Mermaid ride together. Oh, maybe that's the one that goes underground. I don't know. Went on the Little Mermaid ride, which I believe there was an earthquake in California while I was on the Little Mermaid ride. Just a little one. Because I remember feeling a vibration and being like, is this the ride? Because it doesn't feel like there should be a vibration right now. There's nothing happening in the ride to suggest that it should be shaking, but it did. And it didn't even feel like it was the cart shaking. It felt like it was the ground. I think that's what it was. But yeah, so I did the stream, and then I met back up with my mama. And what did we do? I'm trying to think. There was slightly less for she and I to do in California Adventure. Because yes, it's a smaller park, but also because it's there's a lot more like thrill rides there. There's the Guardians of the Galaxy one, which is kind of like the Tower of Terror. There's the Incredicoaster, and she doesn't do roller coasters. I'm trying to think. I think we went on the Monsters Inc. ride together, which was kind of cute. It was just like a little ride. You get into a little car, and it basically just takes you through the Monsters Inc. movie. You know. Boo is on the loose, and you go to the Asian restaurant that they were in, and you go to the locker rooms that they were in where there's that invisible guy, and you chase them through like the door factory, and it was cute. It was fine. It was cute. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember did we go back to Disneyland that day? We might have. No. We just stuck around. Oh, we went on Soarin'. And Soarin' is fun. I never been on Soarin' before. And I was, funny enough, I was actually listening to an entire podcast about Soarin' this morning, which just dropped. Podcast The Ride just dropped their Soarin' episode, which was great timing because I had just written it. It's a fun ride. One of the things that I wasn't, I Soarin' has been around for so long. It's not a new ride, but it had just dropped in Disney World when I was like frequenting it. So the lines were always a million miles long, and I was like, I don't want to wait in line. So finally got to go on it 20 years later. It was good. If you don't know what Soarin' is, you it's kind of like, all right, Patrick Warburton is the voice of Soarin'. He's like, all right, everybody, welcome to Soarin'. That's a terrible Patrick Warburton impression, but it's like your ticket to the skies. And you get in this, you walk into this big theater, and there's all these chairs that are connected to big robotic arms. And there's a big screen. Kind of think about like the Sphere. It's kind of like that. And then all of the chairs like lift up. They like pull you many feet into the air, where all of the different, everyone's looking at the screen, but you're all kind of looking at it from a different angle. So it just feels like your legs are dangling and you're flying through the air. It's a pretty cool effect. And this one was soaring through the world, I guess. It was like a world showcase. So you go to Africa, and you go to India, and you go to where the ocean, the breeze, it's just like takes you from like landmark to landmark, and biome to biome. The Arctic, you're in all different places, and it's cool. And probably the most notable part for me was every couple new scenes that you go through, they throw a new smell at you. So in Africa, when we were like on the plains looking at elephants and stuff, they give you this grass smell. Like it smells like grass, which is kind of cool. And when you're going over like an ocean island, they hit you with what a Yankee Candle ocean scent would smell like. And when you're at the Taj Mahal, they hit you with what, like a rose, like rose water kind of. It was neat. It was like, it's an older ride, I think it was fine. It was good. It was good. I'm glad I went on Soarin'. We almost went on the Incredicoaster. I did eventually get to go on it, but yeah, I don't think we did much else. I think we probably did a lot of. Did we eat food? What did we eat that night? What did we eat that night? I'm trying to remember. We went out somewhere. Was it in the parks? Was it downtown Disney? It was in the parks, I'm pretty sure. Dang, I'm forgetting. Maybe we ate in the hotel? Yeah, no, I remember now. We went back to the hotel and ate at Enchanted Sam's Tiki Bar. I think that's what it's called. It's like a big tiki bar where, it's very cool aesthetically, very like Hawaiian luau vibes. It was, it was neat. The only problem was like it was so slammed. Anytime you asked for anything, it was going to be 20 minutes minimum before you got it. So it wasn't anyone's fault. It was just really slow. So we got like one thing and then left. It was a burger. It was fine. I think we got drinks too. I got like a ginger beer. I forget. You have to watch the stream to find out. So anyways, that night went to bed. And then the third and final day, or at least I thought, we said, all right, we're going to clean up. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, boy. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. We said we're going to clean up at Disneyland. Disneyland. So we went on, we did a couple rides that we hadn't done yet, like Jungle Cruise. And I ate a bunch of, like, food items that I wanted to make a video about, me trying everything at Disney, like the corn dog and the Mike Wazowski Rice Krispie treat and things like that. I don't think we did many other rides other than Jungle Cruise. Did we do anything else at Disneyland that day? I don't think so. Because then we went over to California Adventure to eat and stream. So we went to the Carthay Circle restaurant, which is one of probably like the nicest restaurant in California Adventure. Not like terribly fancy, but nice enough. And we sat down there and had actually a really nice stream. I really enjoyed myself and had some sort of like crab wrap roll thing. It was fine in the moment, but the more I look back on it, I wouldn't order it again. It wasn't that good. Like at the moment, I was hungry and I was like, "That's pretty good," but maybe not again. And we hung out there for a while. It was pretty nice. I don't know if we got a dessert that day. No, we did. There was like Mickey Ears ice cream. It was like covered in hazelnuts and stuff. It was good. Now for the crazy part. Now, I did tease this, that there was a crazy thing that happened because it was crazy. This is when like we go from normal fun Disney trip to, oh, once in a lifetime, might never happen again kind of crazy thing. Okay, so buckle up. So, as we were leaving Carthay Circle Restaurant, and I'd already finished the stream, it was just me and my mom walking around. Our plan was to go and I don't even know what our plan was. We're walking down the street and there's this Pixar parade that's coming. So everyone's like running around, hustling, bustling. They're like, you can't stand here, can't stand here. It's like, okay, fine. And we're walking by and I see this person walking by in a green wig and orange dress. Like, immediately my mind thinks Oompa Loompa. And then I look at her and it's like, oh no, I know who that is. That's not just any Oompa Loompa. That's the sad Oompa Loompa. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me enlighten you. In February, in Glasgow, Scotland, which is the other city other than Edinburgh, it's like the second big city, probably like the main metropolitan area of Scotland is Glasgow. There was something that went very viral, got a lot of international attention from just because how comically stupid it was. There was something called the Willy Wonka experience that was advertised like as a kids thing, and they used a lot of AI generated images to advertise, which was these like big Willy Wonka. They basically said, hey, this is the factory, right? Or like, you can come, like they're gonna play around, like this chocolate. They overpromised, and what actually was there was not just like lackluster is an understatement. This was basically like if you can, you should Google the pictures. It looked like a gymnasium that had a step and repeat, like like a 10 by 10 thing you could take your picture with. There was like a couple of like lollipops up. There was someone, and most importantly for the point of this story, there was someone they hired to wear an Oompa Loompa costume and hand out jelly beans. But apparently she was only allowed to hand out one jelly bean per person. And there's a picture of this Oompa Loompa being very sad because can't believe her luck, got like the worst job ever handing out single jelly beans to kids in the worst Willy Wonka thing that's ever happened. And people like this story of this like people walking in and being so taken aback by how poorly this was executed went viral, and the picture of her went viral. Like, look at this poor person who has been hired to like work this terrible event. So flashback to Disneyland or California Adventure. I'm walking and I see sad Oompa Loompa, and I know it's her because I've been following her ever since that story, and I recognize her. I'm like, oh my god, you're the sad Oompa Loompa. And she's like, yeah, it's me. I'm here. And she had a couple people with her she's like, yeah, they're filming a documentary about me. Like, oh, cool. This whole documentary where just this person who went super mega viral for being the sad Oompa Loompa, they brought her to America, and now they're filming a documentary about her. Like, how cool is that? And I introduced myself to the people she was with as well. And we, this was all while the Pixar parade was happening. We were kind of like walking together, trying to keep where the Disney people wanted us to walk. And by the end of that conversation, I managed to like say, hey, I do content too. It'd be cool to like, we should follow each other. And the people she was with like took my name and information down. I was like, cool. Well, have fun, enjoy your time. And that was that. I thought that was that. And I, of course, proceeded to tell my mom about it because my mom was like, who is this Oompa? Who are you? What the heck is going on? Who are these people? And I filled her in on what I just filled you in on. And then we went to go on the Toy Story ride, Midway Mania, which was fun. But about halfway through the ride, I got a call. I didn't answer it, but turns out, after the ride, I looked and I was like, oh, that's the person I just met. And I called them back and they said, hey, we looked you up a little bit. You know what would be cool? Why don't you come and hang out with us in Club 33? And if you don't know what Club 33 is, whoo boy, are you in for it. Club 33 is a very exclusive private club that is only for wealthy people. Because, one sec. Scratch my leg. Sorry, I just scratched my leg. Is there enough, or do we, good position right now? Are you finding enough hairs? Okay. They say, why don't you come hang out with us in Club 33? And I'm like, I've only ever heard about Club 33. Legends. Us normal people, we don't get to go to Club 33. I'm going to tell you right now, Club 33 for your first year of membership in Disneyland costs $35,000. And then every year after that, it's $15,000. Just to get the access to Club 33. Just so you can walk in and have the privilege of paying for food inside of there. It's kind of like this mythic place that most people never get to go to, especially if you're a Disney fan. They don't, there's like a door. Everyone knows where it is, but it doesn't say Club 33. There's just like a 33 above the door. And so anyways, and I'm like, okay, I would love to go to Club 33 with my mom. And they're like, great, meet us there soon. But by the way, you're wearing a crop top. You have to change out of the crop top into something else. I was like, oh, okay, no problem. So I went and got a shirt at like a gift shop on the way there. So we show up at the door. It's just this like 33. And this little person comes out. Not a little person, just a person. And they're like, what's the name on the invitation? And I'm like, oh, well, we're here to see so-and-so. And they're like, oh, okay, one moment. And then they close the door on you. It's very much like we'll check our records. A moment goes by and they come back out and say, oh, fire engine going by. I say, oh, you're expected. It's like, oh, we're expected. Wow, okay. So we go in. Everyone's so nice. This is like, welcome. Oh, so good to see you. Hello. How's it going? There's this gorgeous blue staircase, like just picturesque blue staircase that we got someone who like walked us up. Now, apparently there's two halves of Club 33. There's a like big dining room where you get a four-course meal. And then there's the club house, like the kind of lounge area. And we went to the lounge area. We didn't get to see the other one. And it was just the swankiest place. So nice. Like it just felt so different from the rest of Disneyland because this was, a lot of money had been put into this place. Suede couches. Everyone's dressed really nice. We sit down and, I won't betray who these people are. But the people who were with Oompa Loompa, and her name is Kirsty, by the way, she's a sweetie, were like pretty like well-connected and well-to-do Hollywood types. And when they told me what they did, they're like, yeah, we work with people like so-and-so. I'm like, oh, I know so-and-so. Everyone knows so-and-so. Got it. Cool. Okay, you're like the real deal. And they're like, yeah. So we sit around and like schmooze on these couches. My mom's there. Oompa Loompa Kirsty's there. Her people are there. And it's just like, small talk, whatever, trading stories. And I'm still kind of like, what I don't quite understand. I really didn't know what they wanted from me. I kind of figured it out eventually. Maybe they just want to meet me. I guess just making connections in the name of making connections. Because look, to be clear, they're all very nice. All the people there were super sweet. I was just like, so like, me? You want me? Okay, cool. We'll come hang out with Club 33. I had a warm apple pie sundae. It was great. Yeah, so we stayed there for a little bit. We got to go into the bathrooms, which were just these like unreasonably nice bathrooms. Especially in contrast to the bathrooms for the common folk at Disney. I went to Club 33, so I can say that, this is like big, crazy, cool looking mirrors, like big couch, like there's a glass menagerie in there randomly. It was so cool. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess this is coming to an end because my flight is at 9. It's 5 p.m. And then they said, okay, do you want to like come with us now? We're going to go ride Rise of the Resistance, which I told you about earlier, is that Star Wars ride. And I was like, well, part of me, probably the more like logical Lily was like, I want to I'm tired. It's been 3 days. I don't want to miss my flight. My dog's got to get back. Wanted to say that. But then correctly, emotional Lily came through and was like, this is the only time you're ever going to get to do that. You can figure out your plane ride. You can figure out everything. Just ride this wave. And that's what I did. I went on this grand adventure with Sad Oompa Loompa Kirsty and her posse while they were filming this documentary. So eventually I realized that me tagging along meant, look, I don't know if and when this documentary is coming out, but basically the whole time we just went around. Ooh, that's a good one. We went around Disney and filmed me and Kirsty. A lot of pictures taken. But they filmed like video of us going on rides together. And kind of like this happenstance of meeting each other and then spending the day together. We got to skip every single line. It was so cool. Like they had fast passes to get us there. Every single line. We went on Rise of the Resistance. We went on Jungle Cruise. We went on I didn't even know was a thing. There's like a Mickey and Minnie's ride, which is the same kind of self-driving car as Rise of the Resistance, which means it's a new ride. It's actually very cool. I didn't know it was such a cool ride, like a new thing, and it was very good. What else? I think we went on Incredicoaster, which was the Incredibles roller coaster. We went on Radiator Springs, the Cars ride. We're just bouncing around, and like the whole time I'm like getting to know these people. They're all very nice, very sweet. We're just like hanging out, and they're filming us a lot, but having a great time. I got recognized a whole bunch walking around. Took some pictures with some people. That was really nice. In particular, I met some lovelies who, it was Star Wars night as well. So sometimes Disney will do this thing where they'll shut down the park, or they'll make it so it's like a special ticketed thing. So you can have your lightsabers, you can, cosplay and stuff. And so the whole park is Star Wars and all these characters are out. So everyone was just like lightsabers and stuff. And these particular lovelies I took a picture with were like, hey, oh my God, so happy to see you. Can we take a picture? Yes, of course. And they gave me a bunch of stuff. They gave me this like Yoda, Baby Yoda iron-on patch, which was cool. I think I gave that one to Emily. A lightsaber, like kind of like a patch, but it had a keychain. It was like a keychain, and I put it on my luggage, which is perfect. And then also this cool like light up crystal necklace. It was like, oh, that's so cool. Nice. Thank you. If you're listening to this, thank you for the stuff. And yeah, it was just like the coolest time. I mean, not to get into too much detail, but it was just like, oh my God, I'm with these cool people that are bringing me on all these rides, and I'm with the Sad Oompa Loompa of all people. Okay, cool. And like really, I'm telling you, Kirsty was so sweet. She was so nice, and just this person who had been taken on this ride of, she told me like, yeah, I was basically poor and got this random job to show up as an Oompa Loompa, and it was really terrible, and someone took a picture of me, and then I went super viral, and now I'm in America getting a documentary filmed about me. Like, how weird is that? And then out of nowhere, I met her. Because I remember hearing about her. And I followed her. Anyways. At the end of the night, around 10 p.m. rolls around, which is when the parks close. And I said, okay, well, I got to figure out my flight because I missed my first flight. And one of the people in this posse, who had already left at that point, but I had her number, she worked for the Howard Johnson Hotel chain. that was like her day job, or, I guess she was working on this documentary, but also marketing for Howard Johnson. Really sweet person. And the people recommended, like, why don't you just call her up and see if you can't get a room? Because the first flight out was at 6:45 a.m. So I was like, well, I guess it can't hurt. So I called her up and she's like, yeah, I'll put you up in the hotel. I was like, oh, great. So first off, shout out to you, Howard Johnson, Anaheim. Thank you for the wonderful room. Lifesaver. Really nice room too. Queen size bed. They put me up in a room that had bunk beds and a queen size bed. Obviously a suite for a family, but I only slept in the queen size bed because I'm a queen. Duh. Yeah. And so I said my goodbyes. Got over to the hotel. Slept for a few hours. Woke up at 6 when my flight was at 7. Managed to get to the airport in time. Actually, with time to spare somehow. And then just went home. My dog sitter was kind enough to keep Nugget for an extra, half day. And it was like this whirlwind thing of, I didn't expect it. My mom and I got to go to Club 33. That's priceless. I got to go on a cool adventure with the sad Oompa Loompa and meet people, make connections that may or may not be helpful for me in the future. Either way, I'm glad I did it. It was worth it. And so that was, I got back a week from today. A week ago today. And I'm very grateful that it happened. The whole trip, but especially the last part. The other thing I will say is that having my mom around to see it all happen was so nice because, my mom watches the streams sometimes. She sees what I do. But to have her see that, to see me in my element of networking and then getting invited to Club 33, and also the whole Oompa Loompa thing aside, we got recognized a couple times and people asked to take pictures with me a couple times while she was there. And it was just nice that she was able to see that, because I know it made her feel really good. Made me feel good too, but it made me feel extra good because I saw that she was enjoying watching it happen. Does that make sense? Like my mom watching me do my thing. So it was just a really nice trip. I'm really glad I did it. I'm glad that I got to take y'all along. The stream, so there's a whole bunch of streaming that I did. I think what I'll probably do is just make a whole mega cut, probably a 5-hour thing. I was imagine probably how many hours to stream, 5 or 6 hours, and just put it all in one video and put it out sometime in the next week. That's my guess. There's a chance by the time you're listening to this that I've already put it out. I'm not sure, but either way, keep an eye out for it. And that's Disney Trip 2024. Looking ahead, that was the big thing I wanted to do this year before bottom surgery. Speaking of which, taking us back to electrolysis, here I am. My electrologist says that it's looking pretty good today. We have a session tomorrow as well, which will be good. And, maybe we get it sooner rather than later. The other thing is facial harmonization surgery, which will, make my face, feminize my face a bit. That could happen before bottom surgery. It's unclear. It just depends on how long things take in terms of hair removal. So anyways, cool. Well, thank you for listening. I have no idea how long this episode's going to be. Probably longer than a normal podcast because I had a lot to say. But it got us through the entire, a good portion of electrolysis, which is good because it's helpful for me to keep my mind off things. The pain, namely, of getting zapped. Cool. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone, and stay lovely.